Well, yes, we both learned through experience the best leads many times are the ones written on the napkin, lost on your desk.
Right.
Or it's the yesterday lead that you thought was not motivated, but today they are.
Right.
You know, to get a right now commission check, what folks will just need to do would be to follow the clearly lit path already laid out for them.
Right.
You know, we're going to leave no stone unturned, and they will be shocked to find many of these opportunities have been right under their nose all along. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, Brian, and you know this, my first 5 real estate clients, I pulled out of the garbage can.
Now, let's set the record straight. The people weren't in the garbage can. The leads were in there.
That's right. Well, because you remember when you first get into business, you walk into a real estate office. I mean, somewhat intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, you have people that are there and they're working, and you got everyone doing their own different thing, and you have the production board hanging up in the office, and your name is not up there, and you don't know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, who to do it with. I mean, it's just a little confusing. And I sat across the aisle from a mid-producing agent by the name of Dorothy Swan. And Dorothy was an agent that was always on the go. Her desk kind of reflected that. Mm-hmm. And I remember walking in the office one day and watched Dorothy cleaning up her desk, and she was making a stack of 3x5 index cards with names, addresses, and phone numbers written on it. They were tattered and torn. And she started piling these up. And then at the end of her exercise of cleaning the desk, she took the pile of what I later discovered were leads, and she tossed them in the garbage can. Mm-hmm. And then she gathered up her belongings and headed out of the office. And as she was walking out, I said, Dorothy, what did you just throw out? And she said, oh, that's a bunch of old wood. I go, that didn't look like old wood. It looked like paper to me. She said, oh, no, we call old leads old wood in this office. They're no good. My ears perked up. I said, leads? I was open for new leads, old leads, never been talked to leads. I said, Dorothy, do you mind if I call these people? Before she closed the door behind her, she said, do whatever you want. Well, when that door closed, I dove head first into this trash can. I grabbed every one of those leads, and I picked up the phone, and I started calling them. Mm. You know, here's what was interesting. Many of those leads that Dorothy considered to be old and no good, I would call the folks, and their phone number was changed. And that's normally an indication that someone had sold their home and moved on, most likely using a real estate agent. And I had a number of those calls, but it was the 17th call that I made to a woman by the name of Ursula Savinkis. I'll never forget her. I wind up calling Ursula. I said, Ursula, this is Joe Nego from O'Brien Family Realty. I just want to follow up with this. Sometime back you had called and you were interested in selling your home. She said, Joe, I had called 4 years ago. I said, I know, I'm just following up.
I'm right on it here, Ursula.
Oh, yeah. Then I wind up talking with Ursula a little bit. I discover that she says, it's funny that you call. She said, tomorrow I have a real estate agent coming in to tell me what my home is worth. Hmm. And I go, what? That's interesting. Are you have any loyalty or any commitment to that agent? Are you open to a second opinion? And she said, oh, definitely. She said, when would you like to come over? I said, what are you doing right now? I wind up talking with her. I wind up grabbing an agent in the office who has some experience and bringing her out onto the listing appointment with me. We wound up listing that property right there, selling it 7 days later to a cash buyer.
No.
And I helped Ursula Savinkis buy a condominium downtown Chicago. I earned $25,000 in commission from a lead I pulled out of the garbage can.
And this is 20 years ago when 25 grand bought you more than a gallon of gas.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And I'll never forget Ursula Savinkis, and I'll never forget Dorothy Swan, because there were a number of other opportunities that I was able to cultivate from the list of dead wood, the list that she thought was no good, old, stagnant leads that I brought to life by making a phone call. As a matter of fact, after many of those transactions closed, I bought Dorothy Swan a closing gift. It was a stainless steel, most precious trash can you'd ever seen.
Hey, Dorothy, I don't want to be diving into that old messy one. I want you to have
right.
a nice one.
That's
great.
right.
Hey, listen, look, okay, people are listening, they're enjoying the stories here, but they're going, hey, I don't have a Dorothy in my office, and nobody's throwing out any dead wood. So where's their Dorothy? Where are their old leads sitting around at?
That is a great question, Brian, because every agent should have old, stagnant leads. Now, if you don't have any leads available at all, then you have to look a little bit deeper. You know, it's the Post-it note where you wrote the name and phone number of that buyer that called last week. It's the secretary message pad that you've accumulated at the bottom of your briefcase. Or it might be a number of leads that you have in your computer that you've already sworn off.
Right.
Or you could even ask another agent in their office if they had old stagnant leads. You know, that is one area. If an agent is asking themselves this question, oh, that's a great idea, but I just don't have any old leads. Well, that means you have not been accumulating leads throughout your career or throughout your business, whether it's a year, 2 years, or 3 years.
And I think the problem here, Joe, is this. I think it's really a mindset issue. Because we can all identify with the first day on the job and that new enthusiasm and that certain hunger that exists. But over a while, and certainly with the market we've had, our hunger got satiated. And part of our hunger would get satiated by just sitting in the office.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think we need to help recalibrate for people here is what actually a lead is. You know, these are folks who may not have said, I want to buy a house right now or I want to list my house right now, but they made an inquiry. It might be a good principle for folks to learn. Our customers don't go to lead school to learn how to be a lead. You know, I mean, so their names, their phone numbers, they might not be under a file that says leads. They might be just a name, a phone number, an email inquiry. You know,
yeah.
And that right now they say in the real estate industry, the independent surveys have shown that 4% of internet inquiries to a realtor are followed up on. So we've got lots of this going on. People are not following up on their leads. They're not following up to see what's going on. How do we help our folks, our members? We're not here to save the whole real estate and lending industries. We're here to be a support mechanism for our group of members. How do we help them make that shift from waiting for people to buy from them, waiting for people to do a loan with them, waiting for people to sell with them, to actually understand, how to make that shift from the name to the lead?
Here is, if each and every listener, every one of our clients can embody this principle, it's worth thousands of dollars for them.
Right.
I learned this early in my career, and I know you've shared a lot of the same thought with me, is there is no such thing as a bad lead. There are just leads that aren't ready yet.
Right.
I mean, isn't that a total shift?
Yeah, that's a great
phrase.
There is
no such thing or person as a bad lead. There just are leads that aren't ready yet.
Yeah.
And it's no different than apples on a tree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you wouldn't look at an apple on the tree and go, that's a bad apple.
Right.
You might look at that apple and say, that apple's not ripe yet. It's not ready yet. And eventually, one day, it will be. And the question is, are you going to be there to pluck it? Or are you the type of agent running around only looking for the ripe, low-hanging fruit? And this is a tough market to do that in. And by the way, there is ripe leads available. You just need to know where to look.